You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Hello and welcome to the Movie Graveyard. This is the first all-new episode of 2020. We're here to kick it off in February as always a tradition. We always like to do a special episode for February because love is the most important thing in life. This is the GOAT, joined once again by Ladybird. What's going on, Ladybird?
It's time for love. Ooh.
That's right. One of the most popular episodes, and I think it was one of the first, if not the first, that I did with you, was when we did My Demon Lover.
That was the first one, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the most popular episodes from the last couple of years, so we figured we'd try to keep it going a little bit, do another love-themed episode for Valentine's Day. Hopefully everybody out there is having a good Valentine's Day. So we're going to be kicking it off with the movie that was popular when I was a little kid. Actually came out even before you were born, called Love at First Bite, starring George Hamilton. We'll go ahead and get it started here. If you want to sync up with us, we're rolling off the Shout Factory Blu-ray. I guess maybe it's Scream Factory. I'm not sure. Shout Factory, Scream Factory, which one this is. One of those factories put this out.
There's one of each?
Well, yeah. Well, like, the real company is Shout Factory.
Oh.
And then, like, the offshoot is Scream Factory.
That's funny.
Like, when they started doing horror, which I in my mind, I always thought this was a Scream Factory release. But now that I think about it, since it's comedy, I'm not sure. Let me see. It is Scream Factory. This was a double feature with Once Bitten, starring Jim Carrey. Another movie we'll probably do on another Valentine's Day show. But today, it's Love at First Bite. We're going to get rolling here. Have it paused at the 2-second mark. It's when the MGM logo comes up. Just the lion. He's getting ready to roar here in a second. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go. And when I say go ahead and hit play on your remotes or whatever you guys are rolling with. Sorry, everybody ready? Remote in hand. 1, 2, 3, go. All right. So the movie's rolling. We had a slight technical whatever, just my receiver being weird. My Blu-ray player wants to control my receiver and vice versa. But anyway, we are going here. And the title card, this is a Melvin Simon production. This is a bit of trivia I didn't know. Because I was like, is that the guy I think it is? And it was. He's one of the Simon brothers who owns the Indiana Pacers.
Really?
Yeah. They started in real estate.
That's funny.
Yeah, he did some movie producing. This Porky's, another cult movie called Stuntman. But he got out of the business. Said he lost money in the business, which is surprising because like a lot of his movies, or at least a good chunk of the ones I've seen he produced were hits. But anyway, so yeah, here we are rolling into Love at First Bite. Starts out
Dracula's Castle.
Dracula's Castle. That's right, and like. I remember this movie as a kid, like, seeing it on cable and stuff. But I really hadn't seen it since I was a kid, you know, when we watched it the other night or last night. And I gotta say, like, for the fact that we really don't get Dracula movies anymore, or when we do now, it's always like a modern or different take.
Yeah.
I actually liked how traditional this Dracula is, like the opening of the movie.
Yeah, like one of the genres that I like, which I guess is a subgenre of horror, is vampire stuff, whether it's movies or TV shows or whatever. And to me, the all-time greatest vampire is Dracula. So like, I didn't know about this movie, and like everything I was taking it in for the first time, and like I like that they actually based it on Dracula and like Renfield, and they made it modern at the same time. Well, modern for its time, but
Right.
I like that. Yeah, like they made him Dracula. Like he was still Dracula living in his castle in Romania, and he still had Renfield as his little, I don't know, sidekick, but
servant.
Yeah, and like Renfield was Renfield eating bugs and all that, and I thought it was really cool, like just seeing how it played out.
Well, it's kind of funny because, like, when I was a kid, I think they came out either the same year or year apart, but there was this, and there was also that other Dracula movie we watched with Frank Langella. So, like, Dracula was kind of a big deal when I was a little kid.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, so in my mind, it was really those three guys, Bela Lugosi, George Hamilton, Frank Langella. Like, I always thought of all three of them as Dracula. Like, even as a kid, because this movie was, like, still around and popular, and then, you know, as home video started, this was, like, always on the shelves and stuff. Like, so, like, I really, like, to me, like, George Hamilton was always, like, a legit Dracula.
It's funny, he's, like, drinking the blood, and I'm watching him drink it, and I'm, like, more grossed out that he's drinking blood, period, but he's grossed out because it's the wrong temperature.
Yeah, it's wrong
and
temperature.
I'm just like, ugh, you're drinking blood.
Yeah, he likes it body temperature. I'm guessing that was probably too cold.
It's funny, though, because it's, like, I kept seeing George Hamilton's face, and, like, what I know of George Hamilton is, like, older George Hamilton when he's, like, orange face, right? Like,
yeah.
That's how he's, like, always made himself later on.
I mean, he was even like that then, like, ever since he got famous, whatever.
Like, he wasn't like that in this, so, like, I don't know, like, I kept going back and forth between seeing George Hamilton and just seeing, like, a new actor, you know, kind of, like, an actual, I guess, Dracula, really, like, it's funny.
Well, what's really crazy, too, is, like, in my mind, like, George Hamilton always kind of looked the same until, like, I'd say probably, like, the 90s, really, and all of a sudden, you know, he started getting older. He aged really well, but when we watched this, I was like, holy shit, he's so young in this.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's why he looks so different to me, because I've never seen him this young.
like, you say, yeah, I mean, not that he ever really put on weight, but still, it's just, like, he has that youthful, like, thinness, and...
Look at his hair, man. You think that's a wig?
No, his hair is real. I think maybe they gave him a little bit of a widow's peak, but the way his hair is styled, that's how
awesome. Like, he's got a full head of hair.
Yeah, that's how his hair always was back then. And, like, that's the thing is, like, he really, like, is perfect. And, like, I was reading some trivia about this movie, and the whole way this movie came around was he was at the pool with one of his friends, I think was a screenwriter. And, like, just for fun, he was doing, like, the Bela Lugosi impersonation, you know, of Dracula. And then, like, him and his friend were talking, like, wouldn't it be, like, funny if, like, you know, there was a movie or a story where, like, Dracula came to, like, New York, modern day. Like, just, you know, just the whole thing about a fish out of water story.
Yeah.
Which is what this movie totally is, comedy-wise.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I mean... The thing I like about it, like you were saying, though, is, like, as much of a comedy it is, like, this whole beginning is, like, setting up what his life is. Like, yeah, he's in the castle, and it's just, like, traditional Dracula at this point in the story. But it's, like, clearly, like, the modern day, like, you can tell, like, he's already, like, out of touch or whatever.
Yeah, and, like, I get that I don't know, like, I don't really get that it's, like, that much of a comedy. Like, it still just seems like a, like, I mean, it's not that gothic, but it still just seems like a traditional Dracula movie until, like, you know, there's one or two lines here or there where you're like, oh, it's supposed to be funny, you know?
Right.
But, like, I don't know. I don't really get it that much. Like, I don't get that impression that much that it's supposed to be, like, silly, you know?
Well, I think that's the funny thing, too, is,
like this part here is probably, like, you know, like, even then, no, it's just him reading modern stuff, and he's like, what?
It's just obviously that he can't relate to it. Like, there's a lot of stuff about modern society that grosses, you know, Dracula out and stuff. But, I mean, these sets, the castle set is so freaking awesome.
I was going to tell you, this set here reminded me a lot of, there was some, I want to say it was, like, that TV show that you watch with the monsters or whatever. There was one episode or movie or something we were watching where there was, like, a scene exactly that looked like this set, and it was a vampire, and they were in, like, some kind of tomb or something of some sort like this. What's that show you watch with the monsters? You have the DVD box set of?
Oh, just monsters.
Oh, yeah. Didn't we watch a vampire episode?
Yeah, but that was at a bar. Or unless there was another one, but I know we watched that one where the ladies, like, at the bar, like, playing pool or whatever.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, it has to be something else then, but it feels like I've seen this set before. It's weird.
I mean, I think it's modeled as much as it can be on the Bela Lugosi one, especially the crypt room.
This part made me so sad.
Yeah, so
like, kicking him out of his house.
So the remaining government comes and they're taking over Dracula's castle, and it's like not a secret. Like they totally know who Dracula is and what he does. Like everybody hates him because he's killed so many people. Like whatever, and But they're kicking him out of his castle, and they're making it a center for
But look, he's so sad. Don't be here. Where am I to go?
Romanian gymnasts. Yeah,
it's so sad.
and they give him a choice. They'll either supply him with an efficiency apartment, or he can just hit the road. Yeah.
Ew.
Efficiency apartment that he has to share with 7 dissidents in one toilet, which, yeah.
It's so sad. Look at his face.
Yeah, it's like bureaucrats are forcing Dracula out of his home.
What's funny too is that he could easily just like kill him.
Kill him, yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
Instead, it's sad.
Well, it's kind of interesting too that there's like this uneasy alliance between like Romania, whatever government, whatever, and like
What's a toilet?
Dracula. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Here they're getting ready to leave. Finally evacuate the castle, and all the townspeople are outside literally with pitchforks and
Pay their respects.
yeah, pitchforks and torches. They're throwing bricks and shit, rocks through the windows. And we gotta talk about the guy at Renfield, the guy who plays Renfield. He's really classic. He's got like a hilarious laugh where he's like
Yeah.
yeah, it's really funny. But it's just weird because it's like it's so crazy because it's like this movie is like such a strange concept and everything, and but it's like done so well. Like there's so much smoke and atmosphere and everything. Like,
Okay, I totally didn't get this violin player.
oh yeah.
Like, it's just supposed to be like cheesy, creating an ambiance music.
Yeah, it's like old horror movie music. This guy's just playing the violin in front of Dracula as he walks out.
Why is he there? I think he looks so cool in this part.
Yeah.
The face that he makes and how he puts his eyebrows up, like it looks just like you would imagine a Dracula would look.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a legit Dracula. I mean, that's the thing that's so shocking. And it's just
even
like,
he Renfield's scared.
yeah. Because everything about this is like so classic Universal monsters.
This part's funny.
Yeah. Or the guy complains to Dracula that, he bit his mother. He says, "No, I bit your mother and your grandmother." Then, it just like, that drives everybody like super pissed. And this is crazy too. I didn't really get this, like, where Dracula shoots like mist out of his mouth. It scares all the people back.
Yeah. And then the wolves are howling.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, anything that I watch with, like, Dracula or vampires, I'm always gonna sympathize with the vampires because I just love that, concept. But that would be me. I'd be that girl. You're not afraid? Nope.
Yeah.
Although I probably would be, but it just, I don't know. There's like, it's like mystery is gone now from, like, the arts to where it's like, you're not really captivated by anything anymore, so it's so cool to see something like this where there's, like, character and,
Yeah. That's why I just, like, when we watched this, I was, like, so surprised.
I like how he wasn't phased at all by getting hit.
Yeah, old lady hits him with, like, a giant, like, I don't know what it was, piece of wood. Yeah, and he totally rags on them, saying,
It's gonna be Bucharest on a Monday night.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Your country's gonna be boring as hell without Dracula around.
Yeah. So he's on his way.
I thought that was a cool shot, too, with the airplane going across the moon. I was wondering if that was like, I don't know how realistic this is, but it's funny that they're, like...
I've seen this before, though, where people are watching a movie on a plane and it looked like that.
It's like a projector, yeah. And, like, they got the headphones on or whatever, but...
Everybody's all grossed out and Renfield loves it.
There's old headphones that look like stethoscopes are so weird back then.
I know.
You just get a bit of humor with Renfield getting offered all this food in first class, but he wants to eat like a mouse and shit.
He wants live animals.
Mm-hmm. And this lady has like a cat and a carrier, like almost in a toolbox with wire mesh. Just got him totally resting on like the armrest of the seats.
The cross-eyed cat.
Yeah, it's so cross-eyed.
But like, who asks for a mouse for their animal
I know.
on the plane?
I mean, I guess it was meant to be a corny joke, but yeah.
Hotsy totsy, boo boo ba doo.
I like how Dracula, too, like, his coffin's big enough he can, like, lay sideways in it and just lounge.
And he has a lamp in there.
Yeah, because, like, even when they're in Romania, like, when he got in the coffin, that lamp was there, but I was like, what is that? Like, it wasn't turned on, so I couldn't tell what it was. But yeah, he actually has a reading lamp for, I guess, to pass the hours for, you know, when the daylight's out.
Yeah.
It's funny, too, like, when you see the coffin here, it's, like, totally not actually tall enough for him to lay in like that. Like, lay sideways in.
Well, neither was that one shot when he was getting into it with the magazine. It didn't really look like it was long enough.
Really? Yeah.
And then they cut to a shot where, like, you could just see the upper half of his body laying into it. So it kind of seemed like maybe he wasn't really getting into that one.
It's interesting that they just wouldn't have, like, a regular sized coffin or whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess they were going for the classic, like, pine box looking coffin.
Yeah.
And here's where, like, the first, like, bit of, like, weird comedy comes. Like, Dracula's coffin gets mixed up with,
Somebody else.
Yeah, somebody else, a guy who was, supposed to go to a Harlem, what do you call it, mortuary or whatever, to have a funeral. And what's funny is, like, when Renfield takes that guy's body and other people take Dracula, like they never say what Renfield ever did with the body.
I know. It's kind of like,
Like, when he finally, like, you know,
But all those people got so freaked out.
Yeah.
When they see later that it's like, who cares?
Yeah, I know.
They just ran out.
And then, like, he's not in this scene, but yeah, coming up in a few minutes, you get a cameo by Sherman Hemsley.
Who told you to drink the water?
Yeah.
Wherever he went.
Yeah.
But it does seem strange that, like, they would put, like, these people in, like, exact same boxes.
I know. I think it's just the, like, outer box looked the same. Because the guy's coffin looks way different than Dracula's coffin.
But that's what I mean. Like, how do you know? Like, how do they not confuse it? I mean, the only difference was Dracula said Transylvania on it, but
yeah,
it's like it was so like subtle of a difference.
It's always funny too. I mean, like what airports were like in movies when I was a kid compared to what they're really like. Like they always make it seem like there's always a million people at the airport.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, sometimes there is, but...
This scene made me laugh.
Yeah.
Because he's all having the time of his life, and they got this giant thing sticking out of the car.
Yeah, sticking out of a VW bug. Trying to put a coffin.
Funny.
This is a cool shot going into New York City. Yeah. There we go, Sherman Hemsley.
Giving a sermon.
He looks really young and thin.
He was a swinger.
Yeah. He loved his booze.
He's just like telling all this bad stuff about this guy.
He loved his women.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and my wife too. Somebody screams.
He gave me his car. Oh, and everybody's all distraught.
Yeah. He left it to me. Hallelujah.
Oh, I know.
I like the little boys sitting at the front of the funeral. Like, they're just like...
I know, they're funny.
They don't, like, know what to do. They kind of look like the kid from Everybody Hates Chris. When you was gone, you was gone. And then that's when... Ain't no way nobody's gonna bring you back here once you was dead. And then, of course, Dracula comes out of the coffin. And, like, this isn't a very big room, and there's a lot of people in here. And the way they scatter, knock shit over, like, this is great. Jumping through.
And then he just keeps asking them for his room.
Yeah. He thinks he's at the hotel. Sherman Hemsley, the priest, just jumps out the window.
So crazy. I think he's so cute. Like, he has kind of like an innocent, like, face. Like,
Yeah.
though he said, I have a reservation, the way his face was.
It's funny, too, because, like, this time period when he was, like, really younger, I guess, he reminds me a lot of Anthony Perkins in Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
Here you get some more Harlem humor, I guess. Whereas, like, some young... I don't even think they're really organized gang. They're just hoodlum guys hanging out you know, like these young black guys making fun of this old white guy dressed like Count Dracula. Call him a honky. Of course, they're going to start some shit here with Dracula, and he's going to fuck him up.
Why do they keep asking me saw Roots? Like, they keep bringing that
Yeah,
up
there's
in
like
whole movie.
the miniseries Roots gets mentioned a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think it was like literally, I think this movie had to come out like a year after Roots or something. It just, it was such a big cultural phenomenon. It was just something that had to be brought up.
Dang, that dude gets his head.
I know.
bashed against it.
He's some pretty good stunts. This was so weird how Dracula makes the
He got it to twist and then turn into jelly.
yeah, like the switch is a switchblade and he makes it totally. That guy gets off the easiest. He just runs away.
Yeah.
And I thought this little guy was funny.
He looks so familiar.
I know.
There's something about his face that I feel like I've seen somebody that looks like him.
Get some
Oh
great
my gosh.
sped up reverse motion.
And then takes the TV.
Yeah, then he steals a TV after he gets thrown in the store window by Dracula.
And then blames Dracula that he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
I thought this one was funny.
Yeah, when Renfield, he
It's a
can't.
horror movie for him.
Yeah, he's so distraught watching a Raid bug commercial.
It's so funny because I remember this commercial. Raid! Like
Yeah.
the way they always say it. So, he was so terrorized.
It was really funny, like when you think about it back in the day, how like products could have like the same, like even if they made like different commercials throughout the years, they always had like the same advertising strategy for years and years, like same slogan, same type of commercial, everything like that.
I know.
Yeah, Renfield, he never caught on that there was a different dead body in the coffin other than Dracula.
He just says he's gonna get rid of it.
Yeah. And then, like, if you notice too, like in the Romanian parts, or at least the very first scene, Dracula, he had like the old school medallion.
Yeah, I did see
But
that.
once he comes to America, he switches to a white bow tie around his neck.
He's in his best
Yeah.
clothes.
And like, because he always like looking at fashion magazines. There's a particular model that he's like super hot in love with that reminded
that's
him.
the whole reason why he went to New York.
Yeah.
I didn't even mention that.
Yeah, so he went to New York because he wants to meet this fashion model.
Oh yeah, this lady.
Yeah, there's a shot of Renfield walking down the street with this tall blonde, and she has like a whole like weird get up on, but her shirt is just like it's pretty some type of top,
It's out of control.
it's like a tank top, no bra, big breasts, very visible nipples.
You can see everything.
It was like they put that shot in the movie just to show off that lady's breasts. It's weird. Sorry, I had to kill him off. But yeah, so Renfield goes to try to arrange the meeting with the model. He needs to find out where she lives. And I thought this was like a little bizarre scene where he's meeting the modeling agent, and like basically just the whole gag is like this lady's like, I'm not going to give you any information, and then
It's funny though, like everybody knows him too. Like even in
Yeah.
America, like they'll know who Dracula is.
yeah. Like I guess you gotta assume that like, you know, either it was always a big news story that Dracula existed, or maybe the legend and they made movies out of it, but he's the real Dracula. Like I'm not sure exactly. Well, it's funny when Renfield, it's pretty hardcore, he brings a cobra in a lunch pail.
But then it seems like he has other stuff in there because he tells Dracula later on that he had other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's funny the way she reacts.
Yeah, she jumps. I would be scared as shit too if I saw a cobra. I don't know what it is because you don't really like hear about them or see them in movies anymore. But when I was a kid, cobras were a big deal in movies. You always saw cobras. It was the deadliest snakes. It seemed like.
It's so funny. My lunch will eat you.
Yeah, she's totally freaked out. And this lady has like a unique look too.
Yeah.
Just seeing a cobra on a desk, it's so scary.
Yeah, like they just show her reaction for such a long time. They barely showed it.
Yeah. They couldn't get the cobra to do that much acting, probably.
He's so cool looking, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
And here he shows up at a modeling shoot where the model he's in love with, played by Susan St. James, it's like a weird thing where she's like in front of like a Bentley or maybe a Rolls Royce, I guess, with holding these giant dogs on leashes. And there's like so many extras gathered around, and like all they're doing is taking still photos.
Yeah, it's funny that there's a crowd there.
Yeah, everybody's so amazed. And again, like movie crowds, they're never gonna be sparse. They always gotta be like tons of people. So it's like, yeah, like literally 100 people are gathered to watch this lady get pictures taken over.
She's getting all made up for her shoot.
Yeah.
He's in love. Well, he was already in love.
He likes what he sees here.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, like, has a lot of little, it's made up of a lot of little tiny scenes like this, and there's always, like, little gags being set up. Like, one, the police officer pushing Dracula back. And, like, I didn't really get what was happening at very first.
I didn't either.
Like, because you just see, like, a light on Dracula's face, and all of a sudden you see a dog, and, like, I thought for a second that the dog was a police dog, because he pisses on this, like, cop's leg. It wasn't until, like, he ran away that I realized that Dracula... But that has to beg the question, though, that he transformed... He's not, like, in the back of the crowd. He's at the front of the crowd. So Dracula transformed from his Dracula form into a dog, like, in front of everybody.
Shh, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
I was confused because I originally thought the way they were showing him, like, his close-up on his face, like, I thought he was communicating with a dog.
Yeah.
And so he was, like, calling the dog to this, the set or whatever. I didn't realize that was supposed to be him.
Yeah.
Till, like, way later.
And like, as a dog, Dracula goes up to Susan St. James, like, the photo shoot, the other dogs in the photo shoot get scared and run away or whatever. But he goes up and they clearly put something in the ankle part of her shoe, because the dog was just, like, licking that. Oh,
I know, like... After this part, I think he makes a comment to Renfield saying, I had to buy a dog license.
Yeah,
that's when I was like, that was supposed to be him.
Well, like, I kind of got on this part because the cop puts him in an ASPCA van, and I was kind of like...
I still didn't get that was supposed to be him.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird bit of storytelling, whatever. Yeah. Like, it just, I don't know. Not to say it didn't go anywhere, but it just was weird. Here you see him in his Dracula underwear. You realize how thin he really is. And I was impressed, like, it looks like they put the white makeup all up and down his arms. When I noticed that when I was watching it.
Oh, yeah. To make him look more pale.
Yeah. Like, his pale makeup, I'm sure it's just basic powder or whatever, but, like, they did a good job of, like... He looks like Dracula, but he doesn't have, like, white paint on, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's going to the roof so he can transform into a bat.
We're gonna go get some grub.
I miss rooftop sets in movies. Like, that looks so much cooler than even being on a real rooftop, to be honest with you. Yeah, he just kind of spreads his wings and jumps off the top of the building like Batman. And next thing
made me laugh because it was like you can see the string so obviously.
Yeah, so he transforms into the bat, and like this is like what I remembered the most of this movie when I was a kid was all the bat parts. So he basically flies around, like bugging people, or he's actually looking for somebody to bite, but everybody kind of shooes him away. This lady and her there's a lot of I don't know if it was like because of just the time period or the writer or what, but there's a lot of I say nebbish Jewish characters in this movie. This guy's kind of like a Woody Allen type.
I noticed that there's a lot of Jewish culture in this.
Because even when they meet the psychiatrist, they make a big deal out of it,
It's my first wife.
Yeah.
He even calls her Yenta.
Yeah, he calls her Yenta. Like...
Uh-oh, now he wants a piece.
Yeah. This is my favorite. Like, I guess they're supposed to be like a Hispanic family, and there's like 5 people all jammed in this tiny kitchen. Yeah,
A black chicken.
They think the bat is a chicken flying around. They're trying to catch him because they're all hungry.
Boil
the water.
Oh my gosh.
Come back, black chicken.
Leave us an egg or something.
And finally, he finds somebody to bite, but it turns out to be a wino. I miss, like, funny winos in movies, too. Like, they were always a staple of comedy back then. It's funny, too, like, how the bats on a wire, like, how fast they have to flap the wings.
Yeah.
Dude, like...
I wonder how they did that.
I don't like. I mean, I don't get how the wings flew unless like there was a motor inside and they just flapped nonstop. Here we see Dracula. He's dead drunk.
He's all drunk.
Yeah, because he drank the wino's blood.
I always like that in like vampire stuff. How, like the vampires get like the effects of like the person if they're like on drugs or if they're drinking.
I mean, it actually kind of makes sense if you think about it because
it's in the blood.
Yeah, alcohol goes in the bloodstream. So yeah.
It's just funny because like you think like a vampire is invincible against anything, but then you see them get vulnerable when they drink in bad blood.
Yeah. I'm not even a bat. I'm a black chicken. I'm a yento with skinny legs.
He's so sad. He doesn't belong in the city.
Yeah.
I know how he feels.
I think if I was Dracula, I would just transform into the bat when I slept. Because then, like, your coffin would seem so much bigger.
He's lonely.
Yeah, 700 lonely years. Yeah, but the model, the reason he's in love with her is she's kind of like a spitting image or a reincarnated version of women he have loved before, like Mina Harker he mentions, and talks about
just her.
Yeah.
I like that too, how they still like incorporated her into the story.
It's kind of funny because like as the movie goes along and the plot develops, like you realize how, like, kind of actually how faithful of adaptation it is of like Dracula or whatever.
She was Regal on the rocks. Yeah, because like even later on, the Von Helsing guy mentions to her how like he knows her or whatever.
Yeah.
He just wants to eat a Malamar.
Yep. Dracula said.
He wants potato chips.
He wants to be normal.
Another little bug.
His gloves are kind of funny. Like, they're so thick and puffy for Dracula gloves.
They look like leather gloves.
Yeah.
They're just white, so they look funny.
Yeah. Talks about how he got it with the lunch pail.
My lunch pail.
Hey, it's another snake, which it was. There's a scorpion. What could be better than a scorpion? 6 black widow spiders, 12 fat earthworms, 2 hairy caterpillars on rye bread, a slice of onion, triple decker. Meanwhile, Dracula has to go throw up because he's hungover and drunk.
I like how you, unlike movies now, we don't have to actually see him throwing up.
No, yeah. You don't have to see the vomit come out.
That's all. Whenever there's a scene like that now, they just want you to see everything.
So here Dracula coming into actually a discotheque. Which, the way the guy was so weird at the door and stuff, I thought it was going to be like a scene where he went into a gay bar or something. Because, like, at the little doorway, it's pretty much all guys right there. But no, it turns out it's just like a fancy discotheque. I don't think it was Studio 54 or anything famous, just...
But what's funny is that, like, they have the little trap door, and he just said, "I'm looking for somebody," and, like, it was like there was no password or anything he was supposed to give. Like, he just let him in.
Yeah.
It was like, what is the trap door for?
There's the people painted in silver shit, naked lady. And, like, Dracula's taking in the decadence of the disco era.
He senses her.
Yeah. And there's actually a couple of good disco tracks in this movie. I actually kind of like them. The one that plays on the menu of the Blu-ray.
It's so funny how there's a phone there and she's just like talking on it when this music is playing all loud.
Yeah, she's like a supermodel, but she just like, it's almost like this booth at this disco is like her office or something. They have a phone there for her. I like from the beginning, like they show how much of a mess she is, like just constantly drinking champagne, popping pills and shit.
I like when he does his Jedi mind trick.
Yeah, Dracula's got some great Jedi powers. He makes a phone just hang up.
I like these parts where he's just like totally that captivating Dracula that nobody can resist.
Like they didn't they didn't try to go for too much comedy and make him bumbling or anything. Like he is like the romantic Dracula or whatever.
Yeah. But look at his face, like how his eyes, he's so like enamored with her.
Yeah.
He's like so totally serious about how he feels. And she's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because, like, Susan St. James, like, she always played, like, the mom and shit on TV shows and movies when I was a kid. It was so weird to see her, like, all glammed up as a supermodel. Mm-hmm. And as, like, the movie goes along, you find out how, like, really not glamorous she is and how much of a mess she is and all that.
Yeah, now that I'm looking at her hair, I'm like, how did they do that? Like,
yeah.
She doesn't look like... It looks like her hair.
I think it is in the front. I just think all the long parts aren't, somehow.
I can't tell, like, how it's connected.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with those hair clips. Yeah. It's where the weave comes in. But it's good.
Yeah.
And, like, I can't put my finger on what modern actress she reminds me of, but she reminds me of somebody now.
You enjoy having your ankles like...
But like right away, she's like ready to bang.
Yeah. Like she was so like she didn't know who he was at first, and then she's just like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, no. Like at first she wasn't impressed. Like I guess that's just his magic working or whatever.
He said, no, we need to dance first.
Yeah. The customs of the old ways. He's got to woo her first. Oh, Dracula.
I still really like her hair.
She looks awesome in this movie.
It's so full of life and body.
I mean, this movie is definitely the best I've ever seen her look. And I've never seen her as a blonde before. She looks good as a blonde. Mm-hmm. I love the nightlife. I got the boogie. I think that was part of it too. Like, George Hamilton, even though he did a lot of comedies and stuff, he was always like the dashing guy, like to the point that like it was like over the top, and they always make fun of him. You see a chunk of her fake hair came off; it was in their hands.
I thought so.
Yeah, he was throwing around. But I mean, he really does excel as that hunky romantic guy.
Yeah. They had some classical training here, you can tell.
Yeah, they're doing some good, ballroom dancing.
They have a good form and everything.
We're starting to go into some old school Gene Kelly type stuff here. But it's I like this movie because it's not like that, over the top, Leslie Nielsen kind of spoof movie.
Yeah.
It's just a comedic Dracula movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now she's in love.
Yeah. And, this movie was a hit and everything. And, it's just interesting compared to, the way movies get made now. that like totally. Yeah, this is where he finds out she's a total slob. There's just like shit thrown everywhere.
Well, it's funny that when she's like, "Do you want anything?" He's like, "A broom, perhaps."
Yeah. Place is so nasty. But it's just interesting how movies could get made back then with just like an actor having an idea and like it worked because the movie made money and stuff.
I wonder if he realizes that who that guy is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was I took it more that like he was just looking at the picture that she had a guy's picture, like she must have a boyfriend or whatever.
I like how he's just calling Renfield. He's like, "Tell me when the sun's about to sunrise or whatever."
Like a wake up call.
Call me.
Yeah.
It's interesting too. Like he always keeps up with what time.
Yeah, he's always worried about being caught.
The sunrise. Oh, it's just something that was like totally just on top of her head.
Yeah, so this is where you find out like her hair is like not long and flowing. It's just kind of short.
More pills.
Yeah.
Is that mouthwash?
Yeah, it looks like mouthwash.
She totally drank it with that.
Yeah. She comes out and now she like totally doesn't even look like the same person. She just looks like some soccer mom now.
She looks like 20 years older.
When she has the short hair, she reminds me of that blonde lady from Modern Family. She finds her kitten. The kitten was in the refrigerator. Could a cat survive that, being in a refrigerator all day?
I don't know. But she said a couple of days.
Yeah.
Like, it was in there forever. And she's a pothead.
Yeah. Pills, pot. I'm just going to pour some champagne.
She has the world's largest lighter.
Yeah. And she pours champagne even worse than I do on New Year's Eve. Like, she just pours it all in all hard and shit's foaming up all over and just like...
She barely put anything in there.
Yeah, the one glass hardly gets in.
Just drinking it all. I don't know how people can drink it like that. That stuff's harsh, man.
Yeah. I guess if you've already been drinking and you're trying to just get fucked up, you won't care.
But the way she was just like...
Yeah.
Guzzling it out. It's funny where he's like, "Hi."
Yeah. Some Maui Wowie. I said, I do not drink wine and I do not smoke shit.
She just threw it.
I don't know. Probably her balcony would catch on fire.
And then she wants to like give him all these drugs.
I know. That's weird to think that there's like a time where like it's seemingly like everybody casually like used all these drugs. Like no wonder everybody was dying so early back then. Or dying of heart attacks in their 30s and 40s. But again, like he delivers the romance here, man. He carries it over the threshold. And she kind of has like a motel type bed with that weird like circular bed.
Like round.
Yeah. Like the bedroom area is like the only place of the house that isn't like all nasty, dirty.
That's true. I didn't notice that.
Yeah. I think they didn't want to ruin the romantic mood. Yeah, she tells him she's not on the pill. I guess she's using the rhythm method. So sloppy. She's got her life is such a mess. But like I don't know, like I kind of find that refreshing or whatever. That you could have characters, especially female characters, that are so flawed and like. I wouldn't go as far to say that she's like really unlikable, but like it's not that thing like now where they introduce you to like the love interest and they try to like force it down your throat how perfect they are and all that.
Yeah, I generally don't tend to not like the female characters in movies, but
Yeah.
I think at first I was kind of turned off by her just because like she was so nasty and like
Yeah.
I don't know, like.
But it's really only that like introduction part where she's that bad though.
Yeah, but even on this part, like you can obviously tell she's a little. She's got some issues because she's sleeping with her therapist and.
Yeah.
he won't commit to her, and she seems like neurotic. She's always smoking, like I don't know, like. But I don't know.
Yeah, Richard Benjamin plays the psychiatrist. I think his name was Rosenberg. As we find out, he's really a descendant of Van Helsing. But yeah, it's so weird because like I remember a time when like almost every female character smoked in movies. Like I think even though this movie came out like 1979, I think it's still that like leftover, you know, silver screen glamorization of smoking, especially with women, you know.
Yeah. I think on this part is when she mentions like the Dracula thing, and he reveals like all this stuff all of a sudden.
Yeah, he like figures it out really quick.
Yeah. They've apparently been sleeping together for 9 years.
Yeah. I guess like shit's not really going anywhere, or like he doesn't want it to.
There she shows him the bikes.
Yeah, the dynamite hickey, and that's where he catches on that it's actually a Dracula bite.
It's so funny how tiny they are.
Yeah, I know. Like what teeth could be in George Hamilton's mouth that would be that like shortly spaced apart?
His fangs.
Yeah. But like he have to have like a mouth the size of a cat for his fangs to be that tiny.
So you met him a long time ago.
Yeah.
You were a little girl.
So yeah, I guess he totally did get the reincarnation bit. Like I guess like even though Dracula himself stays the same, these other characters, you know, the descendants of the Van Helsing, the either the descendants or reincarnation of Mina Harker, it always comes back, you know, into Dracula's life.
And then I like too that I've never heard like this part of the folklore about getting bit 3 times and then you get changed.
Yeah.
That was new to me.
And what's so funny is they totally must have ripped it off for Once Bitten, but yeah, that's it too. The lady vampire has to bite Jim Carrey 3 times throughout the movie, and he'll become a vampire on the 3rd time.
Yeah, usually it's just. Well, I mean, generally it would just be like, oh, if any vampire bit somebody, they would turn into a vampire. But then it also got introduced that the vampire had to bite them, and then they had to like drink the vampire's blood. And then they had to get buried, and then they would become a vampire. And
like I feel like I've seen other ones too, where it's like you can get bit by the vampire, become a vampire, but you won't be a real vampire until you bite somebody else and drink somebody else's blood.
Feed.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the Jim Carrey movie totally ripped this off.
This is funny too, how she's like, oh yeah, we have a date, and he wants to go with her.
I know.
It's weird.
What's weird is like when it gets to that scene and Dracula shows up, he doesn't really like overly question like who the guy is. He just goes with it or whatever.
Yeah. That's why I'm wondering if when he sees the picture at her apartment, if
maybe he knows,
has some idea of who it is.
Yeah, I didn't think of it. It's hard to think of all that stuff the first time you watch the movie because you don't really know, like, you know, that Van Helsing is going to come into it like this. That's a good ass wig, though. You can't tell that at all.
Yeah.
I noticed too. I mean, she kind of already was already, but her skin's starting to get pale already, just after the first bite.
It's funny because like I forgot she was wearing a wig.
Yeah.
Well, she has to be, right? Because her hair was so short.
Yeah, her hair's like not even half that length.
It's funny how he starts getting all obsessed too.
Yeah. I guess that comes down to the
That is funny.
yeah. Dracula's in a horse-drawn carriage where there's like no driver.
He's all in love. Like,
Yeah. He just talks directly to the horse.
yeah. Go get yourself something to eat.
Totally see there's a string on the horse's nose too.
Really?
Yeah, there was. I noticed it just the first time as he pulled him along. He had
That's
it on.
funny. Be back in an hour.
Yeah. Horse just walks away, and you kind of hear like all these like crashes
Cars.
and shit.
Funny.
Yeah, like the guy Rosenberg, he orders a Uncola.
Yeah, I thought I heard him say
Yeah,
that.
is that like 7-Up or something?
I have no idea.
There was one of them clear drinks. I remember the TV commercials where they say it's the Uncola.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Man, this is a fancy ass restaurant. Look at that chandelier in the background.
Oh yeah,
It's really nice.
it's funny how he's like, "Don't touch the thorns."
Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Rosenberg. This is the first time where he starts going through asking to be called Vladimir in this.
Yeah,
Going back to Vlad the Impaler.
yeah. It's funny how he's like, "And I will call you Shrink."
Yeah.
We are in America. Yeah, I thought it was interesting how they were like so like homophobic in this movie.
Yeah, they're kind of like
It was
constantly
interesting
calling
seeing
it
that.
out. Yeah.
But like talking about it like it was so like bad.
And like the little mirror trick there, which is in a lot of movies, but that was in Fright Night a couple years after this too.
What?
There's the mirror trick, like just a cracked mirror, like gets dropped. A cigarette lighter has a mirror in it, or a cigarette case, I should say. Yeah, Rosenberg tries to give her a garlic necklace. It gets thrown into a giant salad nearby.
That's so gross.
It was gross.
Yeah, the mirror thing is in all the vampire stuff.
Yeah. Does it always get cracked though in every movie?
No, I mean it's just they just show how you can't see a vampire's reflection in the mirror.
Yeah. But I'm saying it's just weird how like little parts of this movie showed up in movies that were like came out like exactly 5 years later.
Yeah. Like just kind of an homage kind of thing.
Yeah.
This part was funny. I was like, even I looked at it and I was like, that's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, Rosenberg pulls out a Star of David to scare Dracula, which doesn't do anything.
Although I've seen in other vampire stuff that any kind of religious symbol like that
Really?
would work. Yeah. Like one of the shows too that just recently ended, like was it in the show or it was based on a book, but like the vampire couldn't even say like the word God.
Really?
Yeah. You're having a guest star
I know.
of the house cat.
Creature of the night.
As usual, I think he makes an appearance in every episode.
Pretty much. Yeah, here we have like the showdown between
The stare
them.
down.
Yeah. Like it literally is a stare down. I like how they did that lighting on George
Yeah.
Hamilton's eyes.
Yeah. I wonder why he doesn't fall for it though. Like, why doesn't it work on him? I wonder.
Yeah, I think it's just because like he knows like the power or whatever. He's not susceptible to it. Yeah, they're trying to put each other to sleep.
It's so funny though. The way
Yeah.
they're like, "No, you are. No, you are. No, you
No,
are." Drowsier and drowsier.
This kind of probably is the most Jim Carrey-esque moment of the movie.
And she took her flowers.
Yeah, she's left.
And the waiter falls asleep.
The waiter comes. He falls asleep though.
Here he comes.
He totally flies in as the bat and transforms. But like even like simple scenes like that, like
Yeah.
like I don't know. I miss the simpleness of like old time horror movies.
Yeah.
Now everything you gotta watch somebody slowly unfurl and CGI on screen.
Well, and it's like, you see the bat coming there, and then you see his silhouette. It's like, it's obvious what's happening.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I think they feel like people are too stupid to understand what's happening.
Yeah. I always feel like if you were like making like a lower budgeted.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I've got a man in here, and he just Jedi's the
Yeah. Pulls the sheet off the bed with his mind. But like, I always wonder why people would make lower budget movies like now, like why they just don't use like the old tricks like that.
Yeah.
When because I remember, obviously before like special effects were way different than they were now. Like you pretty much either had to do something like for real on set, or you had to find like a tricky way to shoot around it.
He did it again.
Yep, I found one flying on a wire. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of miss that, like those simple like little magic tricks in movies and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now everything is just.
Thanks.
I know. I'm telling you.
They put you to sleep.
Yeah.
The Jedi mind trick worked on you.
That's it. He heard a rooster crow. Turns out the rooster is actually Renfield cockacooing into the night to warn.
Trying to call him.
Yeah.
I was like genuinely worried. I thought he was gonna like get caught. Oh, this part's funny.
Yeah.
We can do a little quickie.
No. With you, never a quickie. Always a longie.
That cracked me up.
This is kind of like, this starts too now, like where every time he walks in and out of a door, like the door opens automatically and stuff.
Yeah. I just love that kind of stuff. It's so cool.
I know. Like, and it just, it doesn't require any like real, like whatever. It just you see that there's like a magical power going on.
Yeah.
I really like this shot too, like when he's running through the city, trying to get back in time to the hotel.
He looks so awesome with the cape.
I know.
Like this part, for whatever reason, he just has his arms spread.
Yeah.
There you go with the door.
Yeah,
he looks so cool walking like that. I'm Dracula. Move. Oh, he barely made it.
Yep, right before the sun came up. He flips off the sun.
That's what I thought when we were watching it the first time. I was like, is that what that was supposed to be?
Yeah. Then the shot of the cops letting the guy in the backseat of the car handcuffed and smoking. I thought that was weird. It's where Richard Benjamin goes to get the help of a police officer. And we get like a callback joke to the one guy who stole the TV out of the window. He's there.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he's like putting on like a fake crying act about how he didn't know the other guys were going to do a crime and all that. Richard Benjamin is kind of like a bleeding heart who convinces the cop to let the kid like go.
I thought it was weird though, because I was like, why is he talking like that? It's so strange that he just walks in and he starts talking and this guy believes him. The detective guy believes what he's saying and all that. I was like, what? I was like, does he have some kind of powers too? Because he's a Van Helsing.
I mean, maybe, like, it's just like, I don't know. It's kind of funny. But it's just like, I don't know. It's like, I remember how movies were back then, and it was just like, people would just do like goofy, weird shit in movies back then for like no reason.
Yeah. Like just him saying, I happen to be a doctor of psychiatry. And then all of a sudden he has all this credibility.
Yeah, I think he's telling the truth. He knows what he's done. He's sorry. And the cop's like, bullshit, And he introduced himself. Call me, go to this clinic and stuff. The cop lets him go. And the cop character, the lieutenant character, like he's like a weird character in himself. Like,
yeah.
Like, he plays much more prominently, like, later in the movie.
I wonder what the clinic is supposed to be, though, because he sends him to another doctor.
Yeah. Probably just, like, some kind of juvenile psychiatry thing or something. Because this guy's clearly a grown man, but they play it like he's a little boy in this movie or something.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes it even funnier, really. Yeah, so I'm gonna bring all the cookies.
That kid.
What an intro to a scene.
I know.
Richard Benjamin's like really young in this movie too. It's weird. Like all these people, I mean obviously I was a little kid back then, but all these people that I thought were like even older than whatever, I guess they weren't that old when this movie was made.
See, like how the guy's like, I feel good. Like,
Yeah.
did he like do some kind of weird mind trick on him or something?
I mean, maybe, because I mean, he was like all like confused at first what the guy was talking about, but then he's like, "Oh, you know, we did something good, whatever." And then as Richard Benjamin tells him, "I need help with Dracula," he realizes like, "Oh, this guy's full of shit. Get that kid, that rotten kid, back in here."
Ooh.
Yeah.
He's all weirded out.
Yeah. This is like a great police station too. Like every cop is like in their late 60s, early 70s. It seems like. I can't. I don't know what you're saying.
I have to pee.
Oh, go ahead. So Richard Benjamin gets pulled out of the police station, and basically we go into this whole like.
He's in disguise.
He's in disguise as like a Pee Wee Herman like Shriner or whatever.
Yeah, whatever happened to those guys?
They're still around.
Well, I guess because they do show up at like parades and stuff.
I just literally saw a commercial the other day for Shriners Hospital. So they're definitely still around doing all the charity work and stuff. And again, like a great staple of old movies or whatever, the bellhop letting Richard Benjamin to his hotel room. Clearly a guy in his early 60s. Like, when was the last time you went? Some guy in his 60s took your luggage at a hotel. Richard Benjamin looks like he got some funky makeup in this movie, too. He's kind of made up, kind of all rosy cheek and shit. But it's all cunning ruse to break into the hotel room with Dracula. It's kind of funny too when he gets in here because like I thought he was going to go in here and like try to stake Dracula with a stake through the heart and all that, but he really goes in and he has like a suitcase, has like a thing of gasoline in it. He's gonna try to burn Dracula up, which I thought was a weird way because I mean, well, not even burn Dracula up, but burn up Dracula's coffin with him in it. And it's kind of like, why would you, especially if you're a Van Helsing, it'd be different if you're just like a normal, nerdy-ass guy who, you know, suddenly believed Dracula was alive. But I would think a descendant of Van Helsing would know the real way to kill a vampire, you know what I'm saying? But he's really dressed like Pee Wee Herman. Except he has shorts on instead of like the long gray pants. But here he goes lighting up Dracula's coffin here. You get to see George Hamilton inside. The coffin's filled with smoke. It's a good reaction. And then Renfield like is in the next room sleeping with a big like plush like tarantula. It's kind of weird. But yeah, it's pretty funny here. And then like, you know, Renfield wakes up, see what's going on. He calls the front desk, says there's a fire, so everybody's going to burst in and put the fire out to save Dracula. It's a pretty good wacky scene here. Coming with the fire extinguisher. And these flames are going good, and I don't know, this doesn't really look like a set either. It looks like they're really in an old hotel in New York. Yeah, I mean, if it was a set, it was pretty convincing. But I was just talking about them flames, man, were out of control in that hotel room.
Oh, I know.
Like, it really goes burning the place down. So Richard Benjamin gets taken off to the funny farm now.
It's so funny, like, seeing I noticed that the guy, how he has like red hair.
Yeah.
It's interesting how that happened.
Yeah. They took him actually to Bellevue, which is the famous mental hospital there. Susan St. James visits him with a bunch of KFC, like 6 boxes of KFC.
Oh my god, when I saw that, I was like, oh, with our current KFC situation.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I know, like, I want to eat KFC, like, at least, like, twice a week.
I know.
I just can't get it. It's just too crowded.
I always kind of thought it was weird how, like, she's supposed to be seeing Dracula, but then every time she sees this guy, she goes and she kisses him and stuff. I'm like, what is she doing?
Well, it's like that thing of, like, they had, like, a non-committal relationship thing. It was, like, for whatever reason, they didn't. And it seems like he only realized, like, he cared about her once Dracula came to get her.
Yeah. But it's like, does she, like, who does she want?
Man, look at the box of crayons. It was even the 64 back then.
It's awesome.
It's always been the 64 Crayola crayons.
I had one of those.
Yeah, I did too. Did yours have the little sharpener in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine did too. I had that same box for years. And eventually there was like a couple colors that I used a lot that got like, you know, got real like low or ground up or whatever.
I still have those crayons. I just don't have the box anymore.
Yeah.
I have them in a bag somewhere.
Crayons are funny because it's like the way they smell when they get a little warm in the summertime.
But it's like only Crayolas that smell like that. Like when you get those, like I remember like at the 99-cent store, they would have those crayons that were like super waxy. Like those were weird.
When I go to restaurants or whatever, like a macaroni, I think it was a macaroni grill, they give you the crayons and like the paper, and I would sit there and draw on the thing. There's always those, or like if you went to Denny's or something as a kid, there were always those wax ass crayons.
But the places started getting real ones though, like the real Crayolas. Yeah. They would just have the little 4 set of like the main color.
Yeah. I mean, how expensive can Crayola be? Like, when you go buy the big thing, it's only like $4 or $5.
Dracula sucks.
I like how they sped up the camera.
They're like, okay, it's taking too long.
This is a fun little scene, too, where Dracula and Renfield, they go rob a blood bank.
I swear he wasn't sitting in the front seat right now. It was somebody else.
Yeah, it probably was. Well, I mean, it was a stunt the way they were flying through there.
Yeah.
Because it almost looked like it was like out of control, like they were going to flip the hearse.
It looked like the driver was him, though. It just didn't look like George Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny how he's saying those words wrong. Heist, heist, heist. They're robbing the blood bank.
It's funny how they're like knocking like with their backs up with her. And I was talking about during the hotel scene how like every like serviceman in this movie is like, you used to see this in movies too, like they just let old ass actors work forever back then. Like the security guard here, another 65-year-old man.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that about show business. Like now when you watch movies, everybody's like young.
Yeah. Well, now security guard will have to be some young dumb guy.
Yeah.
Who thinks he's a boss when he's not.
It's funny too that like the blood bank, like they're closed, but like the nurse is still there. Like she don't know they're closed. Like
I know
she's letting them go in and try
to fill out these cards. This is
get
normal.
some blood. And then he takes this like test tube of blood. Like they're just gonna have blood sitting out like this all the time. I kept waiting for him to do like a shot. Do it like a shot.
I know.
Test tube.
I know. That's what too. I thought he was gonna drink it.
Yeah. But then they find all the blood.
He's so into it, but he's not drinking it. It's funny.
It must not have been anything that was drinkable.
That part's so gross.
Yeah, Renfield gets rid of the nurse by putting a mouse on her chest and starts like crawling down into her bra and shit.
I can just imagine him laughing every time I see him.
Yeah. Here they found there's like hundreds of bags of blood in this fridge.
Only in America.
Plastic disposable bodies.
It's funny.
It's like a supermarket.
At the reception when you marry Miss Cindy.
How that night they bled. So much backstory in this movie.
Here's blood in your eye.
Fancy restaurants and movies back then always had flaming dishes.
Close your eyes and hope to die. Because that's the mark of being super fancy.
Yeah. Yeah, here he gives her a vampire pendant.
Yeah, it's funny how it's like a super bat. Like,
Yeah.
it's like so obvious.
I was surprised by like how cheesy looking it was. Like
I know.
the rope part looks like it's like little plastic beads.
It's supposed to be real
Yeah.
pearls or something. It does look cheap.
Super cheap. She's saying, "Oh, it must be so expensive."
Shh, it's supposed to be expensive.
Well, she's under a vampire spell, so she don't know anything.
It looks shiny to her eyes.
Yeah.
Oh. No, she's saying it.
Hey, you ever heard of this movie before we watched it?
No. The title was really familiar, but I don't know if it's just because it's such a common saying. Or
Yeah.
but I never knew anything about this movie.
Yeah.
It's funny because I guess I'm really just like... I obviously only know what I know, but like I watch a lot of the modern vampire stuff, but it's like, especially with you and like stuff that you expose me to, like there's a lot of stuff from a long time ago that I've never seen, like for somebody who loves vampire stuff a lot. So it's like, it's really cool to see like all these older movies. I like seeing them.
And like obviously, like the whole reason kind of George Hamilton wanted to do this is he liked the whole Bela Lugosi thing. So like, I'd like that they found a way to do the movie without like shitting on Dracula. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they actually really like pay homage to it.
Yeah.
And like this, I was just, do you think of me as special? Then how can you think
Think nothing
that
of yourself. Oh, I'm so in love with you. Yeah. And that's the thing is like he actually really does. He really is like in love with her.
Yeah. I can arrange it so you never have to look in a mirror again.
Yeah.
That was awesome. The way he said that.
I thought this was awesome how Rosenberg just shows up in the restaurant and shoots them. He thinks 3 silver bullets will kill Dracula. He just laughs.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's like he's not dead.
It's like, no, that's a werewolf.
Yeah, nobody notices that he didn't die.
Yeah. It's funny, just sitting there with giant bullet holes in his shirt.
What did she do? Just pass out?
Yeah, because the guy came in and shot the gun.
It's funny.
Cut straight to their love scene. I thought the relationship between them two was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It made the movie entertaining because, like, I feel like it would have been real easy to, like, not really, making this type of movie, not really concentrate on the relationship and not making it real. But, like, they really get into, like, his faults and his insecurities.
Yeah.
As being an old-ass lonely Dracula and her faults and insecurities being a alcohol and drug abusing model and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, that was cool too on that part where like you finally get that like she's from the past. Like she was saying, I see things in your eyes, and he said like places.
Yeah.
Like they set up that connection between them two.
Yeah.
And he's like, ooh, because he's asking about Rosenberg.
Yeah.
He doesn't make me feel the way you make me feel. And his eyebrows were like, ooh.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting that, making basically a love triangle between Dracula and Van Helsing and her.
Yeah. That is interesting because, like, you've never seen an interpretation like that of those 3 characters,
No.
This part was funny.
Yeah, he likes that she's biting him.
Yeah. It's funny.
And this is where the the cop, he was reading in the newspaper about the blood bank being robbed, so he realized that Rosenberg was telling the truth about Dracula, as crazy as it sounds.
Him in his padded room, and it's all smoky.
Yeah. I have to say, like, it's nice when you watch, like, a horror movie or something, when, like, the cop or whoever, because, actually believes the people, because it's, like, it's obvious when you, like, actually look at, like, what's going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was watching...
It's like, what else could it possibly be?
Yeah. Like, I was watching the movie the other day, Needful Things, the Stephen King movie, and it was, like, the cop, Ed Harris, like, he realized, like, from what he was seeing, and, like, this kid told him that, like, the guy was, like, he wasn't a man, he was a monster. Like, the guy, like, was a devil, and he was, like, running his shop and giving people their ultimate, like, like, possessions, but they had to do shit for him and stuff. And it was cool, because Ed Harris, they had, like, murders and stuff, and then, like, this kid was trying to kill himself over it. So, like, he actually took it to heart, and, like, as crazy as it was, like, he started, like, believing it, you know, and, like, it's funny, yeah, when he falls over. So it's, like...
Fell in his face.
Yeah, like, it just sucks when you're, like, watching movies and, like, people don't believe shit that's so obvious until it's too
like,
late.
when something's, like, crazy, super crazy stuff is happening and they just still don't want to believe it.
I know.
It's just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, this hallway shit kind of gets... This is funny. She answers the door with a white face on. And the cop is so like, oh, this is so nasty.
What's funny, too, is that he's like, she said, you've seen me wear this 1,000,000 times.
Yeah. Yeah, she's in love with Dracula now.
Yep.
Yep, a second set of bite marks.
Yeah, it does look small. Prickly heat.
Yeah, the cop says that could be prickly heat on her neck. I thought this was funny too, that like they need to go get a search warrant.
I know.
It's like the cop doesn't want to get in trouble, lose his pension.
And then for him to say, I know a friendly judge, and she was like anything but.
I know, she was mean.
I'm registered at Bloomingdale's.
Yeah, like that guy's gonna be buying them wedding gifts when he's trying to save her life and becoming a vampire. Yeah, the judge, like, she don't want to get a search warrant. Bat bites, yeah. Basically, throw them out of the court for being crazy bastards.
A vampire.
Grab him.
Even he realizes what he's saying sounds crazy.
I know. And, like, the actor that plays the cop, like, he's so, like, weird.
This is weird how she said that to him.
Yeah. Did you see Roots? It was, like, again, Roots comes up.
Well, she calls him a honky. I'm just like, jeez.
Yeah, everybody's getting caught. Voodoo, scary Dracula shit.
I don't know. I thought that part was weird.
Yeah. Every white asshole was called a honky.
Yeah.
It's funny how, like, they would always have, like, back in the day, they would always have black characters basically show up just to talk, like, jive words and stuff. I wonder who that was, like, appealing to be honest with you.
I mean, it's kind of like modern day blackface, really.
I mean, kind of, but it's just,
they just
like...
hired actual black people to act
to
like
do
that.
It, yeah.
Instead of having white people paint their face.
Well, there's always a thing in, like, movies, too, like National Lampoon's Vacation, where, like, you know, like, nerdy-ass Chevy Chase, like, accidentally drives into the ghetto or whatever, and, like, he asks the black guys for directions, and, like, they're all, like, you know, fucking, like, robbing him and shit, and he doesn't even know it and stuff.
Yeah. Because, you know, that's how black people are.
I mean, it's just, I guess it was okay, but that's what I'm saying, though, like when they put those, like, that's what I'm really wondering is, like, when the white writers and directors put those scenes in movies, did they think the black people in the audience were going to like it, or did they think it was, like, supposed to be funny for the white people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't really know. I mean, I guess it was all, like, in the name of just humor, but I don't know I don't know who would be really laughing at it, to be honest with you.
Like, who's the audience for that?
Because even Airplane had the thing where, like, the two, like, super, like, jive black guys, and then, like, there's, like, the one old lady who speaks jive to them. Like, I think she's, like, an old nun or something. Yeah, Renfield waiting in the closet with a broom.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's part of the rules.
Yeah, Renfield says they are the good guys. Which it is kind of funny, like, this version of the movie. Because it's like, you actually do like Dracula more than you like the guy who's trying to stop him.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I thought it was funny when he hits him with the broom bristles over the head. And he's like destroyed from getting poked in the stomach by that broom.
And he falls right on his face.
Yeah. At least Renfield cleaned up the apartment or whatever.
Yeah, that's why I don't know. Usually my experience with any kind of vampire stuff is like I'm always rooting for the vampire anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, so Rosenberg drugs her because the cop couldn't get a search warrant to go in, so it's basically Rosenberg has to take the law into his own hands.
Where did his gun go?
He still has it. Because the guy didn't take it.
Because he's dead already.
There's a lot of, like, this little part of the movie, there's a lot of hallway hijinks. Kind of remind me a little bit of Private Resort. Of course, he's carrying her drugged body, and there's like 1 million people in here. And there's like an old lady, I guess a priest guy or reverend. Looks like a TV repairman, a flamboyant gay guy with a little dog, and then like an Italian mobster. Like such a weird group of people to be in an elevator together.
An Italian mobster.
It is. It's funny.
There's another thing with like everyone being weird about the gay guy.
Yeah. Yeah, the flamboyant gay guy, like, they say something about him, too. I forget what it is in the scene.
Yeah.
This was strange, too. Like, the power goes out in the building, and, like, everybody starts, like wandering around all weird. Like, all horny or mad
like
or whatever.
they've never seen that before.
Yeah, like, the lights go out, and everybody... Like, this lady comes out in the rollers, and she's hooking up with the doorman and stuff. It's just weird. Oh, yeah, this is also when the bat flies in with the airplane tickets in his mouth.
It was cute.
Yeah. I always wonder, how did they turn from the bat back into Dracula and, like, have their clothes on? I wonder how that works.
It's magic. Shh.
It's vampire magic.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, they're going to get married and go to England. Relive the old days. So I guess she, like, totally knows that he's Dracula at this point.
Her?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, he never, like, flat out said, like, I'll bite you and whatever, but he said, you know, you won't have to look in a mirror and all
But
that.
I think it's just that connection that they have.
Yeah.
She just immediately falls for him.
Because, like, the way they, like, phrase this is, like, they totally, like, because they're stuck in this elevator, Rosenberg and her, and then all these stereotypes. And then, like, Dracula's, like, climbing down the elevator shaft or whatever. But it's, like, totally set up to make it look like Dracula's the good guy.
Well, and, like, all of a sudden, everybody wants to help him.
Yeah.
Because they all look at each other like, oh, yes, we're all his henchmen.
Yeah.
This was weird.
Yeah, the cop is using a payphone. He's, like, calling his kids. I guess it's just because, like, there was always riots and shit in New York City when there was blackouts back then.
But I like how it just came out of the wall.
Yeah, old lady came and stole the payphone off the wall.
so strange.
Yeah. So the group of stereotypes, they actually helped Susan St. James, climb up through the top of the elevator.
The group of stereotypes.
Well, they were. So Dracula could save her. He starts climbing back up the rope. Looks like they're on a harness or something.
Can we go to my room to pack a bag? Of course. What floor?
Yeah. And finally, the power gets going.
The mobster.
Yeah, he's such an Italian monster too. This guy.
I think they think he's just crazy or something.
Yeah, I mean he's got a trench coat on, but underneath he still does have the mental hospital gown on and shit. And all of a sudden, the old lady's trying to hook him up on a date.
On his Jewish date.
Because they found out he was a Jewish guy. It's funny how like being Jewish was something that was like talked about a lot in movies back then. Like you really don't see characters saying that anymore.
Yeah.
Here's the guy selling flashlights. I remember those little red flashlights so much. We always had them. Like they're kind of crappy too. Like they never were that bright. Yeah, like there's like everybody's looting this apartment building. Like somebody just went by with a bed that had a guy sleeping in it. Check out this TV camera, man. It's got like wood paneling on the side. It's pretty crazy.
It's RCA, but don't tell him.
Yeah, they tore off the A. And it looks like they put a hole in the case, turn the A off. Should just put black tape over that shit. Dracula with carrying all the bags and getting in the taxi. Trying to warn everybody on TV. Protect yourself from a bat.
Here's the guy stealing the
Yeah, the kid. They always do the callback.
clinic.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, he totally stole the cars of the cops'
Maybe it's his therapy.
car. So they have this commandeer police motorcycle. Yeah, it's always fun in these old movies, the madcap chase at the end.
Yeah.
Always hijinks.
I like this part. I thought it was cool.
Oh yeah, this
When he takes control of the car.
Yeah, the chase is awesome. And like I totally don't know his name, but this old guy is so like recognizable as the cabbie. He's in a bunch of movies back then.
He does look familiar.
Yeah. I want to say he might even be the movie theater manager in Night of the Comet.
I like how he's like, do you want to help me drive? If necessary.
Yeah. He takes the car over. Dracula's got some awesome powers in this movie.
He does. It's awesome. He said expressway.
Yeah, expressway. That's I guess it's the East Coast thing. That's where I get it from.
Yeah.
Everybody says highway in California.
Freeway. Highway.
Route.
Defy the laws of centrifugal force.
Mm-hmm.
See, like, even he started calling him master.
Yeah.
Whoa, card tricks.
Yeah, so you get these crazy car tricks where the car flips over.
Do that?
It's like two-wheel motion. I think it's some kind of plate they put on it where, like the one side, like, it's, like, holding it from flipping all the way over.
I'm talking in the car.
Yeah. That seemed like it would hurt, like to be in the car when it goes back down on all four tires and shit. Now this is where they start getting off-road, go off the expressway here, start going in the grass and shit, going to the park. I guess that's a cool thing about New York, and they always do in New York movies, is you can always have chase scenes to those giant parks that are there.
Yeah.
I don't even think this is necessarily Central Park, but that's what it kind of reminds you of.
He's keeping account of how much she owes him.
Yeah. Yeah, Rosenberg says there's a good chance I love her.
He still doesn't even know.
Yeah, he's trying to be the good guy and save her and have a romantic whatever happy ending. He still doesn't. He's not even like Dracula loves her more than he does. This is funny too, because like everybody's just in the park at night having sex. Like, well, these people would never have an apartment to go to, or even a cheap hotel room. Just having,
apparently not.
I guess it was just the old days. You just hooked up with somebody and had sex in a park. This is crazy too, where the cab jumps. The cab literally ramps and jumps over a park bench where two people are sitting making out.
I like how he's just calm.
Yeah.
It's funny. Oh, isn't that sweet? They didn't even stop.
And then
How romantic. Put on some music.
Yeah. And then when the guys come through on the police copter, they just like run through a bench. They just drive straight through the bench. People are still on the other bench making out. They don't even like recognize what's going on. I'm a stolen bike with a psychiatrist chasing a vampire. Yeah, tell him he's gonna turn her, but there goes my pension.
There goes my pension.
Such wacky shit. I've been driving people to the airport for 32 years. This time I ever took a flight. Thanks a lot, buddy. Like it's weird because like this movie, like the end part, like it reminds me a lot of like all the chasing around and crazy shit that happened at the end of My Demon Lover. This lady with the teeth at the counter, like she's like so familiar to me too. It's like so crazy how these people were like never big actors, but they always had like these little like tiny one scene parts in horror movies, or not horror, but comedy movies and stuff.
My master will disintegrate.
Yeah.
And she's like, what?
Age before beautiful. So crazy because like the airport counter, like with them scales and shit, it's exactly the same as it is now. Trans world. They go through on the elevator, the luggage conveyor belt.
Why does he react like that?
Yeah, he acts this way because he acts what the in-flight movie for the flight's gonna mean. She says in cold blood. And he acts like he doesn't like it.
Yeah, it seems like he'd want to watch that.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe because it's cold blood.
Yeah.
That's not what he wants.
It has to be body temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to get off on a different plane than originally going to take to get off quicker, but they missed it. Now she's unsure about letting him do the third bite.
You're a great dancer. You go through doors great.
I just don't know what to do. You have to tell me what to do.
I like too that he lets her decide. Like he doesn't force her.
Yeah. Because he wants her to, willingly pick him.
Yeah.
Because like how he says, in a world without romance, it's better to be dead. And then Rosenberg's like yelling, I think I love you. And then finally he's like, oh, of course I love you, I think. So I feel like that's like the thing he pushed her over. Because she realized Rosenberg doesn't really love her. And Dracula like completely really is in love with her.
Yeah.
Great classic cape goes over and does a bite.
I like this too.
Yeah, he finally realizes he's got to do a wooden stake through the heart.
There it goes.
Yeah, he goes to stab him, but it's just an empty cape.
That's classic too.
They disappeared. And you look up, and the movie ends. They're both bats flying away.
Not yet.
Yeah, a check falls down. He gets it. She paid me everything, so she paid him back for all the therapy she owed him.
But she learned something.
Yeah. She's a responsible person, or whatever.
Now they're gonna argue over the cape.
Yeah.
Fight over the cape. What did he have?
He's Dracula.
What's the accent?
You were a nerdy psychologist. Yeah, the cape made the man.
I like when he starts posing with it.
Yeah. What's up?
Funny.
Like, you hate Dracula so much, but now you want his cape. After he stole your girlfriend.
He's pretty good too as Dracula.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then the cop is like, oh, I have an anniversary. If I came in wearing that cape, drive my wife up the wall. Can I borrow it for just one night? This is like the most bizarre ending for these two characters.
He's like, all right.
Like, they both, like, sacrificed everything to stop Dracula, and then when they couldn't stop him, they're still happy.
And they're like, oh well, they got away.
Yeah. Because at the end, he didn't really care.
Now they're flying away too.
Yeah, now the bats are flying away. And, like, this finally, like, where they did, like, a real special effect with the bats. Yeah. Like, with a green screen or whatever.
Can only live by night.
Yeah. She's like, it's okay, I can never really get my shit together by 7 anyway. So, yeah, that's the ending. It comes out with a happy ending.
Everybody's happy.
Actually, everybody's happy. Cameo appearances. Yeah, it was kind of interesting, too. I was reading the other day. I can't believe, like, you know, for what this movie cost to make and the amount of money it made back and stuff, like, I'm kind of surprised they didn't try to do a sequel, because there's, like, a lot of sequels in the 70s and 80s and shit. I'm kind of surprised they didn't try to do a sequel then, but I thought it was interesting. I was reading, he wanted to do a sequel when Twilight came out. Because, like, he got excited, like, he saw the movie or whatever.
Really?
And, yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, he wanted to do a sequel when Twilight came out, because he felt like the Twilight books had introduced, like, the vampire legend, like, a whole new generation of girls or whatever. And I don't know if they went as far as to, like, write a full script or whatever, but he had a story idea, and basically what he wanted the idea, George Hamilton... What he wanted the idea to be, it would be like, you know, cut to like modern day, and him and Susan St. James had kids, and that his son would be getting married.
That's funny.
And that the story would basically be like from the viewpoint of the girl, like marrying into the Dracula family, like what it would be like. So like, yeah, he got all excited and like tried
Gay in elevator.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like TV repairman, priest, mobster. Yeah, the gay in the elevator. Like,
that's funny.
Clearly a different time. But yeah, like, he had a whole story worked out or whatever, and I don't know, you know, I would just assume by that point in time, just George Hamilton wasn't, you know, popular anymore to get a movie financed or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, he was really all about Twilight, and
that's funny.
Thought it was great that, like, you know, it just brought the whole vampire thing to, you know, a new generation.
That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. At the very least, even now, they can make it as like a Netflix movie or something.
No Netflix movie.
Better than nothing.
No. I don't agree with that. It should go to a real studio of some sort.
Well, I don't know. I think to make it work, you could have George Hamilton come back as Dracula.
But how would they do that if he's older now?
Yeah, I mean, he's just super old Dracula.
But Dracula doesn't age.
George Hamilton doesn't look that old.
He doesn't look the way he does in this movie.
But you know. But anyway, that was Love at First Bite. So, what did you think of this movie?
Like, I was kind of like at first because I didn't know what to expect. Like, I was just kind of watching everything, like, not confused, but just kind of like, what is this movie?
Like, yeah, like the first time you see it, yeah, like, 'cause this is my first time since seeing it as a kid. I only remember like really tiny bits and pieces of it when I was a kid, but yeah, like when watching it again, I would say for me, like, the thing I like the most about it is like even though it was a comedy and stuff, and it did have like a lot of funny parts, is like still how legit true to the Dracula story it was, and like how
I liked how it was still like serious about it.
Yeah, I liked how like actually cool of a Dracula he was.
Yeah.
You know,
It wasn't really like a straight up spoof of Dracula. Like they really tried to make it like, oh, this is the real Dracula character, and
Yeah, like-
this is what happened to him.
yeah, going with the real story and everything.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's it. Thanks for joining us once again. Happy Valentine's Day. I guess a quick tip out there so you guys don't get confused when you try to take your sweethearts to the movies this weekend. They have, even though it's been in theaters for a week, they have changed the name of Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. So when you
One Harley.
of one Harley Quinn, that's right. Now it's literally, the name of the movie is now titled Harley Quinn, then like whatever, semicolon Birds of Prey. So
Really?
that's the new title. And they try to say, oh, we didn't really change it. That's just for ticket websites. I'm like, well, it didn't say that the first week that the movie was out. So, and now it does. So that's the real title. Warner Brothers has done that shit before too. When Edge of Tomorrow came on video, it became Live, Die, Repeat or whatever. So, so yeah, that's just, when you go up to the ticket booth, tell them you want Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. Because if you tell them you want a ticket for Birds of Prey, the Fantabulous Emancipation, they're not going to know what the fuck you're talking about. You got to be Harley Quinn Birds of Prey.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So anyway, that's it. Thanks for listening, guys. Hope you enjoyed revisiting Love at First Bite. It was a true blast from the past for me. I'm glad you got a kick out of it, being a Vampire Dracula fan. So everybody, have a great Love Day. Have a great February. And we'll catch you next time in the movie graveyard.